Mark,
Yes, sir.
why are you special?
I don't believe I am special. I think I'm incredibly blessed. God's blessed me and our family incredibly well. I'm so lucky to be married to my best friend and love my life. We have 2 great kids. I've been blessed with a lot of great friends and had a chance to meet incredible people. So don't think I'm special, but I'm lucky and I'm blessed. And so I'm grateful for that.
I'm Herb Thompson, a Green Beret and resolutionist.
And I'm Corey Thompson, Herb's less hairy half and branding expert.
Our guests come from various backgrounds, but one thing is true. They are special.
Well,
And you guys are 2 of them, right? 2 good friends. So
we think you're special.
I appreciate that. But, I think you're special. So maybe that works.
You are the Assistant Secretary of the Army for
Yes, sir.
Financial Management and Comptroller.
Yes, sir.
Longtime federal government executive in the business side.
Yep.
With EY, husband to Shaza, because I don't want Shaza mad at me. I'm going to give her a shout out.
You have to. Yeah. I actually, every 4 minutes, I'm going to say Shaza. That's just
Shaza.
Exactly.
Who's just the sweetest little thing.
She is.
She's awesome.
Yeah. 35 years in a row. All in a row. I always say that.
All in a
35 years.
row.
Yeah. I've known her almost 40. So, wow. And I'm only, 27. So,
So what
that's
I'm
incredible.
hearing is it took you 5 years to convince
Yeah.
her.
Well, yeah, exactly. I knew out of the gate. She was like, I don't know. Like, let's, but yeah.
And you were our wedding officiant.
Yeah.
Yes, you were.
Which was really special for me. It was
Special
great.
for
By
us.
the way, I want to tell a quick story on that if I can.
Yeah.
So, because that's something that's always been in my heart to do. And I've always wanted to do it. And I was sitting at our dinner table as a family, right? And like you call them like, oh, it's you guys. So, and then I remember you kind of going, hey, would you kind of consider this? I'm like, oh my God, made my entire day. And my family's like, so it was just this great thing. Because I know you were like, well, should I ask him or will he do it? And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like I was so, delighted to do it, but really wanted to do it. And it's just been a thing that I'd always wanted to do. So I was grateful for
So
the chance to have a chance to, be with you guys.
Herb
It's one
was
of those
trying
great
to-
memories, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a big deal. So
Herb was really trying to figure out how to ask and when to ask
Yeah.
and if it would be weird if we asked.
no, but like you got it. But
big
it's like
thing
friends,
to
right? You
ask.
have to. It's okay to
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, no, or but it.
It wasn't just do the ceremony. You had to get
Oh no, I had to.
official.
So I'd always wanted to do it, right? But I had never done anything about it.
Mhm.
So yeah, you actually have to become a minister.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, hey, I got it, right? But
Yeah.
and I had to research this too. So my faith is very important to me, and there's a lot of internet-based things out there. Some are probably not where I want to be. Like I'm not going to marry a spoon and a knife or a penguin and a. I'm just like that's not because I do. I think marriage is important and
Sure.
sacred, and I want to respect that. So I found an organization that was consistent with my values and, the intent of what we're trying to do together and marry you, which is a, commitment to each other and a big deal. Faith-based versus more of a kind of a, legal civil way.
Right.
It's both are legal, but this was more faith and legal, not just civil and legal, because that was important to me. And then, the state of Maryland recognized it, right? And then we
We're legal.
we're legal, but did it. But it was just I was very happy to have the opportunity, but also just be a part of that, right? Because, think so much of you both and to have a chance to participate in that was great. And my wife, was able to come and met your good friends as well and your kids. I mean, it was all, and also a beautiful night, right? Like the
It was
night,
perfect.
could not have got
the pics with the night too, like with the sunset.
People
and
have
then,
accused us of it being AI.
it's not.
It's not
Well, it was
AI.
kind of, so it was beautiful before the AI stuff was as strong,
Yeah.
right? Because now it's really difficult to
True.
do anything, but that was long enough ago that, yes, you could make things prettier, but that was just
Yeah.
what it was. I mean, it was
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was special for us, but I want to flip it, go back a couple of years. What was it like growing up in Idaho?
Yeah, that's more than a couple of years, but
Because we had similar upbringings, I'll
Yeah.
say. What was it like for you?
it was fantastic. So my dad was in the Forest Service, Department of Agriculture, Forest Service. He was a ranger, and we lived on a ranger station. So I lived in a bunch of different places. I was born in California, moved a little bit, moved a couple places in Idaho, then Arizona, and then DC for headquarters for him. That was we literally lived in a log cabin in Idaho. And I mean, we have the story, and I actually have the legitimate story of walking like uphill, 5 feet of snow to school.
Both ways.
Both ways, 100%. It was about a half-hour ride on a school bus. And like in one winter, the bus broke down. And like out in like, this, like out in the wilderness, bears, like it's not just like, it's not
You're
Yogi
not
Bear.
top of the food chain out
You're
there.
not like in your little nuggets, right? You walk, like I was probably first grade or something. I mean, you're in, we didn't have a CB radio in the bus. After that, my dad made sure we did, but we had to walk to school in middle of winter in Idaho, several feet of snow, got there, ate our lunches. We were all starving when we got there, but it was fine. But like those were experiences, right? And you also, I think one of the things, I'm, as I said, grateful, for our friendship and knowing you guys, but I've always just had these incredible experiences having moved where you just meet great people. And there's also something around smaller towns or rural communities where people rely upon each other. Even if you're not a next door neighbor, you're all kind of in it together. And so that's one of the things that I probably took away from that too, is people, right?
Yeah.
And kind of, you're there, you were always there for each other. Even if it was fascinating in a way, like you thinking back, you didn't talk to each other, you didn't text each other, right? But if your neighbor needed you, you helped out your neighbor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the sense of community was real.
And I feel like almost they didn't need to ask.
No, you were.
You just
No. It
stopped
was,
in, hey,
it
you need
was,
something, you just
hey,
did.
like it was never like,
Yeah.
well, like it was just, of course, right? Because,
Yeah.
and you also probably, to your point, it's a good point, felt comfortable asking, because it was just this, we were all operating together. It wasn't like somebody's not doing something and piling stuff up.
Yeah.
It was, we're all doing our stuff, right? And so we're getting through it and trying to, help each other get there. And I think that's one of the big takeaways I had, was moving around a lot of small towns, and just the actual sense of people and community. Not that you can't build community, right? We can reach people differently now, but really people and the value of that.
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of experience growing up like that really shaped who you are?
Yes, because I think there were times growing up where we'd move every 2 or 3 years. So it was not military service, right, where you're kind of that, but it was on pace, right,
Yeah,
for
similar.
frequent moves where I probably didn't love it always, because I'm like, I got my friend. You get yourself set up, right? You got your friend or your teammates or whatever. You're kind of, then you got to go again. But I think that helped me get comfortable being the new person. And then also you just kind of realize people, right? You don't get stuck in, you're just like people, go find good people, and there's good people everywhere. So I think it helped me.
Yeah. And you experienced it as
I
a
grew up
pastor's kid.
Similarly, moved every 4 years. And for me, it was an experience. And I'm sure there were times I didn't enjoy it as much as a kid, but I do think that it definitely shaped my ability to speak to anyone, to learn an area, just that adaptability. I think there's a lot to be said for that.
And I think it's also how, like, you both do this so well, but like just approaching people.
Sure.
Like you kind of, you approach it from a listen, get to know them, versus I have a thing I need. Like it's, connect with people if you can. And you also realize, right, not everybody's going to be your best friend. There are people you have things, overlap, but you can find good people.
I don't know, with your kids, we've seen it with our kids, because everything so much is on the phone and everything now, that they just go up and talk to someone.
Yeah.
One of them does it very naturally, but the other three, it's very foreign to them. Yeah. Because they're so used to just talking through the phone.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing called the COVID stare that somebody made me aware of that I did not know about. But apparently for, certain like age groups, students going through a period of time of growth during COVID, they interacted, to your point, like online, Teams or whatever, Zoom, whatever, right? But some, laptop to a laptop, not person to person. And in person, they don't know what, they're like, you're talking to me. Like, they're like, don't know how to connect or they can respond. Like, it'd probably be easier if you had a laptop, you're sitting there, and I had one, we could talk to each other. But like, they're like, oh my gosh, you're looking like, so there's a thing to that.
Discomfort.
And we tried really hard with our children, and we always took them, if we did stuff in the community or out doing stuff, they always were with us. So, kind of got comfortable, being out. And also when you're out, like, go say hi to somebody. I always tell, I always told my children, as well as just folks, because it can be hard for people to walk into a room if you don't know anybody. That's a real thing. We're all people. That's a thing people have, right? We all, but if you walk in and you smile, just walk in with a smile on your face. And you'll be amazed, a handful of people will smile back. We'll go, like it's,
so true.
Connect with people, right?
So, what do you always say?
Oh, that everyone is the 7th grader at the lunch table.
Oh,
trying
100%.
to figure out
No, it's
who to
all still
sit with.
people. And right.
We all still have that uncomfortability. And when you realize that everyone shares that discomfort, somehow weirdly it makes you more comfortable.
Yeah, because it's just people, right?
It's
So
just people.
Mark Warner, who's a senator from Virginia, has a thing that I really like. When he walks in a room, he sees friends and then people who aren't friends yet, or some kind of like context of I know you. It's okay if I don't. You will be my friend.
Sure.
But it kind of breaks down the barrier of strangers and that distance.
Check us out, Liberty Speaks. If you need a speaker, content creators, brand partnerships, hit us up, libertyspeaks.com.
Of all the Liberty, that libertyspeaks.com is my favorite. Just let you know. So
sweet.
Awesome.
And we're adding
I love Liberty. And then Liberty Speaks, right?
It's a great partner, but we are adding more people every day.
Yeah. You guys have done great. It's really a tough business
talent
to build, right? Like there's a lot of people doing, and I think probably what's helping you too is how authentic you both are, right? And you believe in something, try to get like-minded people or people around it and build out of that.
We're definitely building a team, and I don't say that, in a cliche way. It's really very intentional. And
going back to, you said Shaza, been married 35 consecutive years?
All in a row. I say that all the time, all in a row. The streak is alive.
Help us guys out here. What's the secret?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have like a secret playbook. I think we're best friends. So if you kind of start from a place of being best friends, she really is the love of my life. This is going to sound a little strange. So we met in college, and when I met her, I'm like, I'm going to marry her, which, it could be a really weird Netflix specialty like that one. But
could be a very creepy.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that one, right? But I knew kind of, and so I don't know why I knew. I also probably believe those things are possible. I think you can, and we love our family, so we have a lot of the kind of same, and we built our life together too. I think we feel like we've, built this thing together. So, there's, I think, happy wife, happy life, right? We were talking upstairs, right? When I get home from the Pentagon, it's the to-do list, right? It's not like, oh, well, I'm so glad you're, it's like,
the Honorable Marc Andersen.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
there's no round of
when you cross that threshold, there's no round. It's like when you cross that threshold, you're like, okay, so Safeway, okay, I'm on it. So
this particular brand, don't come back as a fail.
Yeah, that's a thing. Because I'm like, you got
to have pictures. It's
really funny though. She still writes notes to me on a piece of paper.
Love it.
And I'm like, just text me, because I'm like, and then so I'll take a picture of it.
And you had to transition me to that too.
Because I'm just like, you can literally just text me the list, right? But it's, and then occasionally the thing I'll have to, I always stop and wait for is she'll think of something and there's bad cell phone in the store. So I'll get to the car and I'll be like, yeah. So
now I got to go back in.
Yeah, I got to go. I don't want to go back in. I got to go back in.
God bless him. I always say, are you by chance still in the store? And he always says, I haven't left yet. And I know full and well that
I'm halfway home.
I'm halfway home.
But yes, I will turn around.
But he never says, yes, I'll turn around. He always says, I haven't checked out yet, or I haven't left yet. And I know that he absolutely has.
But it sticks out to me because both of you have been very successful in your careers.
But before you go to that, for those that maybe the younger generation sees things as perfection and sees things as this belief that everything has to be flawless. Do you all get along
Instagram,
every
you mean?
Day? Yeah.
Like Instagram, like life's not Instagram? Yeah.
Do you all ever have an argument or a disagreement?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, because we're normal adult people that have known each other for 40 years almost,
but
right?
You move through it, right?
Yeah, because but I think it goes to, if you're really in it together, generally your intentions are to get to a good place. It's not like I'm taking you off course. And so it goes to trust. I was sharing with you before we started too. So our daughter Katie, Katie and I speak every morning, kind of like I'm driving in or something. She'll talk. Yeah. And then I was saying, what I'm doing today. And she goes, oh, they give you all the questions in advance. I'm like, no. I go,
yeah.
And I go, part of it is I don't mind talking, but I also, was excited about today because trust you both, like you both. And so it's a different conversation. Sure. So I think if you go back to your spouse, if you trust each other, you're trying to get to the same place. We can all have bad days too. Yeah. I can be cranky from something. She can, never cranky, of course, but never cranky. But it's something
this is being recorded.
Exactly. So edit that part. No, okay. But if one of us is having a day, right? You adjust for each other, and then. Sure. If you both had different views on the same thing that's trying to get you to a better place, then talk about it. That's different than, just a argument for the sake of an argument. Yeah. But you have to work through it. We started out together, built our family. Like, I mean, you are in it together too.
Yeah.
And every day is its own day. Like you can't, like that is one of the interesting things about social media and Instagram. Like everybody posts good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no, and I don't know if anybody would want this, like a platform for all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's terrible. Like,
we had
why
a disagreement today.
Yeah,
Here's the picture.
Exactly. Like, why? I'm not sure people would like
but that's
follow,
real. But I think we've seen, especially with younger folks, they think it's only the good stuff.
Yeah. No.
On social
Real
media,
life
whether
is
that's
not.
relationship or living. Like us, we just recently rented a house in Florida for a week for vacation. You post some pictures of that, people are like, oh, that's their life. No, it was a week.
Yeah. It was a great week, but it was one of 52.
But that is not our life.
No, but it's great to share things, I think. But to your point, it's like only eating dessert, right? You're never like eat your vegetable stew, get up, go work out, like do the stuff, but like you got to eat like the stuff you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, my mom would make liver and onions.
Oof.
And I never ate liver and onions.
Yeah, that's a good call.
That's just like, I don't even know the purpose of that. Like why? And it's kind of how you grow up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so, because her mom, like, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
I would remember get home, smell it, and go to a friend's house. I was like, I'm not doing
My
that.
grandparents.
Turns out I have plans.
Yeah, it turns out I study.
I'm going to go walk with the bears.
Yeah, I'm going to go.
mountains.
Exactly. There's an angry moose. I'm going to go check it out. Like that. But like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But yeah, no, I think you got to be in it together and committed. And like, that's one of the reasons I think I was, so delighted to be part of your ceremony was like, you guys have that, right? Like you're trying to build this. And it's, there are easy days, hard days, good stretches, harder, but like, but okay.
Yeah.
Because, what are you going to do? Do it alone?
Right.
Like
It's
the
not
alternatives
easier.
are what? You can always say no, you can always quit, right? But work through it and you generally get to a better place.
Before we met, I did not have a gray hair. Not one single gray hair.
That's a lie.
Exactly. I was going to say,
You didn't want to admit
like my
you
wife
had a
has,
gray hair.
like you have things, she has high blood pressure. And I'm like, yeah, it started when she met me.
Yeah.
I think, like the same kind of thing. So
Those heart palpitations aren't from a flood.
yeah, it wasn't like, oh gosh, it was like, oh, she's so annoying.
It's like, what is he going to do now?
Exactly. I thought, it's because you're like, no, it's not because I love you so much. You're just annoying. So.
So now to your question about their individual success.
Yeah, I mean, both have had a lot of success. I mean, very successful. And you've managed to keep your marriage. Like, and you've kind of answered it, like with trust and stuff, but it impresses us. And that's why we asked you to officiate. It's just like who you are as a person, but then as a husband.
And as individuals.
Yeah,
because I think that it's interesting where I think, like, I believe in abundance, not scarcity. And so I've never felt like if somebody does well, it means someone is not. And so, and if you're in it together and you're really there together, like help each other be successful, right? Like, we should both do well. Like
we should be a team.
Yeah. And we can both, we're a team, go be great at, she's awesome banker.
Yeah. I'm
going to go be as successful as I can in my like stream or lane. And then, we support each other along the way. And those are, but do that, build together.
It's such an interesting industry because it requires a Shaza to succeed in banking.
Yeah.
You really have to have this multifaceted capability, but also have the intellect to be able to do that successfully.
And she's great. I mean, she's a tremendous leader.
Yeah.
Also, I think it goes back to what we were talking about with people too.
Yeah.
Because banking is about people.
It is.
Like most things are, right? But your banking's really about helping people, companies, businesses, right, fulfill their dreams.
Right.
And that's what she does, right? And her team does. And so that's ultimately what it is. It comes down to people and relationships. And she's, exceptional.
Yeah, she is. She's a mighty little powerhouse.
Yes.
Yes, she is.
So we've had the immense pleasure of meeting your two children, Katie and Danny.
They are awesome.
And as we just mentioned, you and Shaza have had an abundance of success. And some kids that we meet from families that have been so successful aren't necessarily as well-rounded, but Katie and Danny are truly some of our favorite people.
There's some of mine too, and
they
ours too, so that works.
Yeah. And we would love to know, as parents of young adults, how did you all manage to make them into these incredible people that they are today?
It's a great question. Thank you. And we feel the same way. And, family, like faith and family for us are just all part of the same thing. So I think that's part of it. And I think we shared, I don't think we one of the things about this really goes back, I think, to what you said too, a little bit about the, only posting the good stuff. we never hid anything from them. Like if something's hard or something's tough or we're doing this, like I don't think we dwelled on it with them, but we were just open. So like, like building your business is hard, right? Yeah. And so you bring them along for the journey of what I have do the work. Like you got to do the work. Like you can't escape. If people spent more time actually doing the work than they did trying to avoid it, you get a lot more done, right? Because you only have so much time. What is your effort against? What impact are you making? Like all those things. And so I think we've shared those experiences with them, shared those stories with them. We've been, just direct, and we've included them. Like when we've done things, gone to things, introduced them to people. So we've kind of not, I don't think we had a formal like nurturing, program, but our intent was as a family, we're doing things together. And so probably then as a byproduct of that, they are exposed, like our children, I'm sure it's just like yours, right? Like, our children have been exposed to things I never was.
Yeah.
Oh, like not even in a ballpark way, right?
Yeah.
They live a life that's like, wow, good for you. Like, I'm like, it's so different, but they get it. They're grateful. Right. And so they it's not like, well, this is just the way it is, right? Like, no, they kind of get that these are special experiences that have been built.
Pitching in too.
Yeah. No, they help. Like when we do, when we'll do some of our, charitable events and fundraising, they're in it with us. Like, working the table, like doing the stuff, like they're not sitting back, right? They're in it, making sure certain people are happy, welcoming people, working events, and we've had them do that with other organizations. So, there's no, I mean, your point's thoughtful too. Like it can be a pretty result or a pretty picture, but it still takes work to get there. Yeah. Do the stuff necessary to be successful, and also you go back to people and relationships and friendships and be, people. Like do the things with people.
To your point of having them involved, there are times even still, I think, as parents where we ask to bring our kids along, but there is a little element of that discomfort of that ask, because sometimes it feels like, well,
depending on what it is.
Depending on what
it
is.
It depends on what it is. But that's reasonable because maybe someone else doesn't have the same. Yeah. But like, it's okay. But
but we've learned to get comfortable.
Get comfortable. And also, I think there's a big thing of comfort and being seek being uncomfortable. And that's a hard thing to do. And because
we're all like, also kind of when you think about it, why would we feel uncomfortable about that when it is a continuation of our lives? And,
and give them opportunities that they may not be comfortable in.
Exactly.
Like maybe they're not excited based on, not everybody wants to go to an event. Sometimes folks want to stay home and just do, right? So get them out there. But like get them out there, but part of it is
experience.
You're the first one to sign up.
I'm a big believer in that, like, made me think when we were just talking about this. When we were just in Florida, I was telling the kids growing up different means. Yeah. The first time I had shrimp was when I was in the Army. My boss took me out for something and I was eating the shrimp and I was like, wow, these are pretty good, but it's crunchy. Yeah. And my boss is looking at me is like, well, why don't you try eating them without the tail on? Yeah. And I was like,
well, I didn't know how to eat them.
I didn't know because we didn't have shrimp. Right. So I was telling my kids and they're like, what? Why would you not know? I'm like,
why would I know that?
I didn't see
wouldn't
shrimp.
Know that.
Like it was not anything, but we've tried to expose our kids to like good things like that, but also like real life and take them into parts of places on our vacations that was probably not on the vacation list and just try to expose them to like, this is the world, good and bad out there.
I mean, there's two pieces to it, right? You can go accomplish things, have dreams. There's dreams in your heart for a reason. Go get things, do the work necessary, but understand too, that we're blessed and lucky, right? Because especially the other side of this too, especially given what you've done and seen, you get outside the United States, you understand how special our country is. Yes. Yeah, like even an average day in America is a really, really good day.
Yeah, even a bad day in America.
A bad day. Yeah, amen on that. A bad really day in America is a great day in the world. Like so, part of it is also, I think, maybe expanding the conversation outside, family, but just being part of our country. Yeah. There's massive opportunity. Like my own story, right? My grandfather immigrated to the U.S. from Denmark, right? With just enough money to get here. My father was born in a house with a dirt floor. I put myself through college, right? My wife, right, escaped Lebanon with the Civil War. Her family moved here. Right. And then she learned to speak English. She knows 9 languages. Right. Yeah. and is a successful entrepreneur. Like, what other country in the world would either of those stories happen?
Yeah.
None.
No.
And so, like, now, we have like there was no easy day in those stories.
Right.
Everybody worked. Everybody,
there was suffrage.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's this uncomfortable thing that people need to get better with. Like I don't hear on my right ear. Growing up, I had a speech impediment. And so I had to like do all this stuff to learn to like be able to speak properly. And so when I was young, I didn't like to speak. Because when you're young and you don't speak well, like I don't see great. So I'm like this great package, right? Like I'm like can't really hear, can't see, and didn't speak well.
I see why Shaz.
Yeah, she's like it's like it's like the dog Lucky. You're like the three-legged dog Lucky. You're like, okay, well I like that guy. But then I would when like in small towns and like elementary schools, they seat you by height, right? So I was in the back, couldn't really see or hear. And they'd call me and I didn't speak well. And it was like, so eventually you kind of you don't shut down, but you stop, right? Yeah. But what I did, because of where we lived, this is like the upside, we didn't have TV, right? I think we had TV sometimes in the summer, like with intent, like, because.
With intent, you get like 2 channels?
Yeah, maybe. And it was fuzzy. But like you didn't have but I read a ton. And so I love to write and I write really well. So I'll never forget, like, it was like 7th grade, we're sitting at the dinner table and my teacher called at dinner saying, hey, like, talk to my dad. I'm like, oh, great. Like, and I didn't I'm like, I didn't do anything. Like, legitimately, I don't know why she's calling like this time. No, I'm just kidding. And she goes, are you helping your son with his papers? And he's like, no. And she goes, well, I'm trying to reconcile because he writes like here.
Yeah.
And then when he expresses himself and speaks, he's like here. And so I can't
which is actually pretty common now. They've learned.
I think,
right. And then and part of it was read a ton, wrote a ton because I was comfortable doing that. And I talked to her the next day and she goes, you have to make a choice. And I'm like, she goes, are you going to allow your light to, like, I'll never forget this either. It wasn't like the defining moment, but it was like somebody cared enough to say something, right? She goes, are you going to let your light hide beneath a barrel or something like that, where you've got all this. You just need to get comfortable, putting yourself out there, like, right. And like speaking and then I did.
It's crazy to think what would have happened. I know. Okay. It's crazy to think what would have happened had she not said that.
Yeah. I mean, like, because maybe you kind of figure it out anyway, like, or someone else or coach or like, but it was like, and so I just think about this idea that like the real growth, right, happens when you're tackling the things you should. We all know what we should be doing. Like, we don't need the 4th Twinkie or run an extra.
Probably don't need the first, second, or third.
Yeah, right. But or run an extra mile or go talk to the person or all those little things that we all figure out not to do. Go do all those things.
Hey, check out GOVX. They're our partners this month. They're benefiting the Travis Manion Foundation. So a little bit of you buy goes back to the community. So government workers, veterans, active duty, law enforcement, teachers, everybody go there, get your discounts and check them out because they're awesome. And you like to save money.
I do.
We know you like to save money.
Sure. I do. I like to spend and save.
Shop
yeah, she's a shopper.
You can throw her out throw her in the bus.
Wow. I just say no. You might get a knock on your door later.
If you, not me.
If you see someone
trying to say Shaza likes to save money while she's shopping.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. So if you see someone staying over in the middle of the night with a pillow, that you'll know. That'll be the last thing you see. So
that's when you usually get your calls, though, is when you're on a shopping excursion and they have the husband waiting area.
That is, we talk often.
I like it. I am all for, like, she likes to shop, right? So we like to spend time together. But I love the
husband waiting area.
Well, like in New York, they have, I can't remember what store. I think it's
Neiman Marcus, maybe.
Neiman or Saks. Like Saks has, I think, something like a shoe thing with its own zip code.
Yeah.
So it's like a, branding thing, but like whatever.
Right.
But they have literally a bar inside the store.
Brilliant.
Like a restaurant bar. Like you can go get a drink and go get a meal. You can sit and watch football.
Yeah.
And like you're happy. Or like it's like children. It's like a daycare. Like I'm going to go, but I'm all for it. Like go, like we'll go together. Spend the day doing your thing. I will then, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Like it works.
Every place should have that because I think a whole lot more would be bought if the husbands could
because think about it differently, right? Because you're not like, there's some point where I am very much a buyer, not a shopper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to go buy something and leave.
Yeah.
I would rather be outside or do things than be inside.
Yeah.
I just can't like yesterday, right? Well, I got to play golf yesterday. It was great. Joined some friends, had a wonderful day. It was 80 degrees. Like there was
Beautiful.
no way on the planet I was going to be inside anywhere yesterday. That was like the wrong answer, right? So, but if you can somehow, right, make it enjoyable, because my thing shopping is like, let's roll.
Let's go.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. Versus
I
like
know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'm in and out.
Right. And so my wife, like she likes shopping like I like to play golf, right? So I get it. But if you can make it then fun, to your point, more time spent in the store, they're buying more stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's not that hard of a solve.
Yeah.
No.
Super easy.
Yeah.
And they're making money on you while you're sitting there.
Yeah.
They could even do that part probably for free. It wouldn't matter. But hey,
100%. I just want a little place to sit and be like, I'm good.
Had the husband waiting zone. I joke that they should have like the little pagers where like, page me if he needs anything.
Corey bought me a little stool to take. It's like a little fold-up stool like this.
Yeah.
So like, because I was like, come on, can we
Mostly
get
as a joke. But
I was like, okay, I'll carry it into a store and just sit on this stool and like.
Here's your spot. I'll be back if you need anything.
You should have like a note if lost,
People looked at me kind of funny, so I stopped.
Take him a little snack baggie.
Yeah. I'm good with snacks. I need snacks if I'm waiting.
Gotta have that.
It's true.
Can't get him hangry.
So from, a senior partner at a big time firm like EY, now a political appointee,
yes, sir.
Civilian equivalent of a 4-star general.
Yes, sir.
Was that always the plan?
Never the plan. Never. And that's part of this too. This conversation we're having is, wake up, do work, but realize it's not linear, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're not just. You're going to have to, probably you'll get to better places than you even thought about if you just do good work, treat people well. I actually was the number 1 draft pick to be the ambassador of Denmark on a list anyway. No idea, right?
Yeah.
And there was no draft, so it wasn't me. And I prayed about this. I said, look, I really, in my heart was, I'm going to go serve and make a difference and be part of this, and just forgot about it. And about 2 months later, I got a call from Dan Driscoll. He said, hey, heard about you, I'd like to talk to you. And in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I wonder if I can think of someone, for this. And we got talking about really interesting things about the strategic capital initiative we're driving to help the organic industrial base shortfall and all these different things that I, can help with. And you realize too, you got to be careful. Like if you pray for something, it might come back to you, right? Not in the way you thought it would, right? All of a sudden you realize, well, this is really interesting, exciting. And I got to know Dan, I got to know the team, and just great people. And I wanted a chance to serve. And so literally it was never on the list. Not because it's not super grateful for it, but it's also real life of like, and now I'm there and just, incredible people, driving mission every day, supporting our warfighters, families. It's incredible. And it really goes right to an extension from some of the stuff we've done in the past. Yeah. Right? It's just a different like chair or place to do some of that work. Yeah. And also what's been really, I was talking to my kids about this, what's been really interesting to me is, and at some point you have a lot of experience because, you're older, right? This work, this job has really enabled me to draw from so much stuff and really try to help make an impact. It's just been, it's a ton of work, right? A lot of time, but just so much fun because I'm like, oh, I can, do this or call this person, or I did this, or, maybe we can do, and we also have just a great team. Like the Army team, I think, is absolutely the best in the building. I use that like little best in the building thing all the time, but it's true. Like it's an outstanding, like if you're on a good team.
Yeah.
Like if you're on a good, if you're on a good team, like I know this is
got the energy.
I do know this is a good team for, as long as this thing runs, and that's the way we think about it a little bit too, is, these jobs are like projects.
Yeah.
They're not, I'm not trying to figure out a 20-year career.
It's not a lifetime appointment.
It is not a lifetime appointment at all, right? And so what can we get done in the time we have with a really good group of people? And so that's kind of this motivating factor every day to, get up and go and make something happen.
Love it.
So I'm grateful. Like I park at the mall entrance, I walk up the Army stairs, and they're kind of worn where you walk up. And it's a really grounding mechanism for me where I'm, walking in these footsteps, right? You're going to do this so many times, and you're, in a great way, right? The Pentagon, our military ran, well before I was there, will run well after I'm gone. So it's really about what can you do while you're here to help make a difference.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So, but I get that every day though. Like I get that, right? So I'm just trying.
Yeah. And that's something that we've seen, in meeting those that you've worked with throughout your career. Everything that we come to that you host, we know we're going to meet this, extension of you through these great people. But even beyond that, being in similar, places and having conversations and hearing about you, we have yet to hear a single person say one negative thing about
Not
you.
one person.
Not one.
I keep waiting for someone.
Yeah.
I'll find someone for you.
But how have you managed to keep that, relationship and that reputation in a space in DC that's sometimes very charged,
Difficult to navigate.
difficult to navigate.
But
Yeah,
it is, but it's also, I think if you really do focus on, people, relationships and trust, not transactions,
Sure.
and it's okay because in that first filter, you will realize there are people who either don't share your values or don't want the same thing or really want. So if somebody goes like, look, you don't really want to be your friend, I just need a thing. Got it. Like that's okay.
Thank you for your honesty.
No, but that's fine. But then you're not expecting something different, right? You're not going to harm someone, but you're not also investing in someone.
Yeah.
Right. And part of that's this, and I think it's like at EY, it's funny because I was a partner at Andersen before EY, and then Andersen went out. And before that, I'd co-founded a sold a software firm. So I had this kind of different experience set. And then after EY, I went into venture capital. So I've kind of done this.
You should really do something with your life.
I know. I should really be, stop messing around. But what I was going to say, one of the businesses I had an opportunity to start was the government business for EY. And what's really great about this, and it goes to kind of the people side, is as we were hiring and onboarding people, right, as you're investing and building people, those people now are who my kids work for.
That's so
So
great.
what's really cool, right, is they work in a business, right, that started for people that I hired and mentored. And now I'm I'm, off over here and they're adults running things, right? And it's kind of this, you see kind of this thing that took place and it's kind of special, right?
Yeah, comes full circle.
And it's a little bit of some of the work, especially the work we're doing in the Army, it's a little bit of the, plant the tree, the shade of which you won't see kind of thing. Because we're trying to go hard, trying to go fast, get a handful of things done that are really meaningful, but we won't necessarily see the full outcome of those until we're gone.
Yeah.
And so it's, do the right thing anyway, or do the thing that matters for the Army and for our warfighters and families, right? That you may or may not immediately see.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the North Star of doing the right thing every day.
Now, you'd been in the building, the Pentagon, as a civilian working. What was it like that first time walking up the worn steps, knowing you're in this, what I will say, a prestigious role?
Because I thought a lot, the one thing is it takes a while to go through the process. It's not like, oh, hey, meet me tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Tomorrow, you're in the door.
It's like, I think I got a call from Dan in February.
The Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll.
Dan Driscoll, Secretary of the Army. Yep. My nomination went to the White House and was signed by the president, I think at the end of March. And then I started the process with Senate. And then I was in the final en bloc in October. So, I mean,
that's a lot.
You have some time to think, so not though that your question's not great, but at some point, it's not like, hey, I need you in 5 hours over here. Like, let's go. You're kind of like,
it is such
a long process. Also, though, one of the things I did, I had kind of forgotten about this. I tried to talk to folks. You have to be thoughtful about, you can't talk to people about your job so much, but I tried to just talk to people who had done things. So I'm just trying to get context, right? And think. And so I spent time doing that to start to begin to, how do you orient yourself to be impactful? Because this is a kind of go fast thing, right? This is be impactful. It's not about you. This, like I said, this whole place has nothing to do with you in a way, right? It's about how you can help. And so I invested cycle time on that. And then going back to we have a great team. And so this team kind of came together quickly. We're all trying to get things done. We have our own portfolios of day-to-day responsibilities and then other things we're trying to help with. And so it just kind of gelled. But I do think overarching is this understanding that this is short-term, do your best. You're working on behalf of, this is like a chance for me, something I really wanted to do is to try to make a difference in a different way and then leave. Right. So it's and so I think that I carry that. Yeah. And I, was very, But because I think too, like I don't show up every day and it's like, oh, aren't you glad I'm here? Like, right. I'm more of like, I'm grateful to be here. What can I do?
Yeah.
That drives
attitude
me.
makes a
Yeah.
difference.
I mean, that's like, I'm here to help, not,
And,
I don't want to be, I'm from government here to help. That's probably not, but like, but I want to help and make a difference and not be like, well, what can you do for me?
Sure.
So,
and you're the person responsible. I'll use that term loosely, like I said, big team, everything for what, a $250 billion budget?
Yeah. But well, if the president's budget, the 1.5 trillion goes through, Army share will be 247.5 billion. Right now, 185 billion, but so about a $200 billion budget now. And, one of the largest financial management workforces in the world. It's, and really, the core responsibility is to properly resource our warfighters to fight and win our nation's wars. And so you think about that, like, okay, well, right. But that's the job.
Yeah.
You do it from this portfolio of financial, working with.
But at the end of the day, it trickles down to the guy and gal.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like, that's like, and it's this great thing where I think that Secretary Hegseth has done a really nice job. President Trump has done a nice job of like making things, really specific, targeted, and tangible around, readiness, lethality, warfighter. It's like stop a lot of the other stuff. And it's about that. And we never want our soldiers to go into a conflict that's fair for anyone else. We want them in a position of overmatch constantly. And so a big part of what's interesting now too, right? It's a big part of this innovation tech curve we're on with new entrants, to this defense market, dual use technology, kind of all those things I think it's interesting to try to solve for what is, how do we fight and win the battle or the war today, as well as the future fight, and how do you then allocate resources properly to both, and then deal with things that come up.
It's like the ultimate algebra problem, because how do you solve
and then you have
for
variables
X, Y,
you don't know about, right? Because you have like enduring free, or epic fury, right? They have epic fury, right? That you don't. That's not planned in the same way.
Pop up and say, "Hi,
and we got to go do things,
equation.
right? It's not like
the world's just sitting still, saying everything's okay.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like this from your work, that there is activity somewhere in the world every day.
Yeah, something's going on.
There's something going on. And that's one thing for, and I realize, I would imagine, right, most of the folks watching this understand or get that. But for folks in our country, right, one of the great parts of our country is the ability just to live your life.
Yeah.
We don't think about government. We don't think about what's happening around the world because we're free and we're able to live free. But, this freedom that we all enjoy, this liberty, comes at immense cost. Right. And there's, somebody right now.
And blood and treasure.
Right. Blood and treasure right now today, sacrificing that so that we can not think about it. Right. And so that weighs on it in a sense too. You realize the responsibility associated with that.
I'm going to add a couple questions we didn't have real quick.
It's like the bonus round.
Yeah. The bonus round.
Spin the wheel.
Yeah,
how much of that budget do you actually decide? Because a lot of it is pre-programmed.
No, it's a great question, because these are the questions I had. Like, so what does this mean? Because
I got to decide where $200 billion
I'm doing this. Well, no, because you take a step back, right, to Congress, right? So House authorizers, programs, policies, Senate appropriators, right? So money where money goes. I think, though, to your question, because this is the question I like when we're planning the budget, always in a 3-year cycle, we're working on 28 now. Like, well, what are we really planning? And we're probably, to your point, given, cost of soldiers, how, like all the stuff that's kind of in a stack, I think it's roughly 25-30% is variable. It will probably grow a little bit more if President Trump's budget, right? Because it's bigger, than just kind of a 10% growth thing. You'll allocate that. But to your point, much of this some is fixed, right? Around people caring for our soldiers, housing, certain programs, right? So
it's not like part of this. You can walk in and say, all right, scratch that portion. We're not going to do that.
And the scratching is not like the scratching is with Congress. Right. So the president has a budget. I rolled out the budget 6 times, which was really cool. I thought it was super cool. My kids were like, "You're such a nerd." I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "This is so cool." Like, and they're all like, "Not really." Nerd. I'm like, "I know, nerd." Like,
nerd alert.
Nerd alert. Like, hey, everybody.
If you haven't picked up yet.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I thought it was super. And it also was great too. Like, so it's like the joke, like, how many people does it take to roll out the budget? It was like me and like 15 people, because it's like very specific questions. And, and these programs, right, aren't, like wave top stuff. This is, it's been
Deep
around,
dive.
decades long programs. Like it's a conversation, right? It's you work, inside the service, you work, with the Department of War, with OMB, you roll out the budget, the president's budget, right? And you work with Congress to effectively allocate it against both the priorities and programs of the Army and then the Department of War, and then their priorities too, right? Because the other side of this, and this is where like Washington's broken, et cetera. Well, their job, right, in addition to their relationship and oversight of us, is also representing their constituents.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, so there's this, and so I don't really see it as not working. It's this beautiful part of democracy, which is
kind
hard.
of by design.
100%. It's supposed to be like uncomfortable. Like, I can start the uncomfortable podcast. Like, but it's, but it's hard on purpose, because it should be really hard, and we should talk through things and figure it out.
To your point of uncomfortability around money, it should be something we're much more comfortable addressing and discussing, and a part of normal conversation.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think the process, though, is interesting, right? Because there's tons of, built into your point, by design, checks and balances.
Yeah.
And it also runs on relationships, trust, right? So one of the things we're working on is budget line item consolidation, which, like in the special operations community, it's more bucket oriented, where you have pots of money you can kind of, because of the flexibility you need at a moment's notice to do things. Well, over time, in all the services, not just Army, but Navy, Air Force, where Congress feels like they need more control, or you're not maybe behaving precisely like what we agreed to, they'll write more definition around it to keep it tighter. So because it's the color of money and use of money. Like, you can't just, it's not buckets. It's like this goes to that. So it's not like, for example, we don't have money. We may not have money in the right places. So part of that's moving that you can reprogram. You can't always reprogram other stuff. So part of it's that. And then I think what I've also learned, or just was emphasized, where somebody's writing a bunch of lines, is because of either issues in the past, or they want to create certainty around something. And then where there might be some flexibility, it's where there's trust and communication, and we all agree around the same priorities. So it goes back to the people, right? And communication.
Go put you on the hot seat, Corey.
Okay.
I know this was coming. Will the Army pass their audit this year?
So we will, but it's different than the question a little bit. So last year, the Department of War has moved to a consolidated opinion for 28. Okay. So it means that the services will roll up into that. So Army won't receive its own individual opinion this year or next year, but will be part of that consolidated opinion 28. And we're making good progress against that. And I believe the department will, and we're tracking towards that. The thing that I think is going to be very helpful, or has been, is that other than just saying, hey, we have a new date, or we're trying to get there, resources are being put against it. There's a joint task force for the audit. Like, as you imagine, there's task force for everything, but there's a program and a task force, shocking. But it's actually, we're putting people that understand this, both at the Department of War level, working with. So it's not like, hey, let me know how it goes. It's, we're actually working together to get there.
Yeah.
A new auditor for the building is going to be named in a month or two. So it's a different approach that I think gets us there, and does the, why is that important? Because I think audits are readiness, and the more you know what you have, where it is, how many you have, and the conditions, and speak to readiness. That we're on track to do that.
Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
But it sounds like a great question.
It's so up here. But what's it mean to, like, people out there listening
I
across
was going to
country?
say, what I've observed in that little knowledge that I have is that last year's experience and years prior may have impacted, the American trust.
Yeah, it's a trust thing, sure.
I do feel that there is a responsibility, of our government to maybe set the example of a balanced budget or audit, I should say.
Yeah, two things, right?
Audit,
like, do you balance a budget?
Right.
Is it
audit?
Two
separate things. But,
but related, right?
But I can see why people have such an interest in it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it was interesting, too, to your point, that if both Secretary Hegseth and then Secretary Driscoll in their hearings, right, it's one of the top 5 things they each talked about. So it's not, gosh, I hope it works out, or, oh, yeah, that's right, the audit. Yeah. It's something that we're focused on resourcing. And I do think, for folks to understand, there's a both, purpose of it to me really ties to readiness, right? So, the more certainty we have around what we have, where it is, the number we have in the condition, the more ready we are.
Yeah.
Right. And
absolutely.
you can talk to, commands that will tell you that, because it can't be, I don't know. Because time is a problem,
like, hey,
right?
Herb, can we go on vacation to the Grand Cayman? I'm going to dumb this down, way down. Can we go on vacation to the Grand Cayman? You probably need to know what's in the bank account.
I kind of need to know.
Yeah, I kind of need to know. Could kind of be aware instead of just like, let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm feeling great. Or no,
let's go.
Right?
Or no,
right? So I think for the purpose of the audit, the intent of it is readiness. It was codified into law through the CFO Act. And so, yes, we have to get there. But I think to your point, too, it builds trust with the American people. One of the highest priority items we have. And we're working, I think the reason I believe we'll get there is also the way we're doing it through a consolidated opinion for the building versus kind of some one-offs. So, we will see in 28, right? But I know for this so there's the working capital and general fund are the two pieces for the Army. We'll get working capital in next year. So we're on track with that. And then, each of the services are working towards general fund in 28. Yeah, it was a wild card. I'm kidding. But a good one. But a good one, because we're resourcing against it and working to get it done.
How have you handled some of the negativity? I know we've talked, we don't have to get into it, but it isn't all roses and unicorns when you take a position like this.
Oh, no.
How have you personally handled that?
I think for the most part, I anticipated who would be more excited about it than less. My mom was not very excited, which I did not. I told you this, right? And that's probably the reason you asked the question. But so for the most part, you kind of, because the interesting thing is I really, service country. I have good friends that are Democrats. I have good friends, but
They mentioned Senator Warner.
I know Mark. I was on a part of a company he was on the board of. I know, it's not like, oh, well, it can't be your friend, right? We can all be friends. We can figure out, because if you really start with love of country, America's awesome, strengthening our country first, you can get a lot more done together than kind of these, where we've been sidelined on some things. Yeah, it's the same. It really, a lot of behaviors, right, are kind of the same. Probably I've had a couple folks that I thought were closer friends who this administration, they were less excited about. The vast majority of people have been really supportive, love what we're doing. I think it goes to this important step, time for America. And so we're doing the right things. I think my mom was it took her a week or two to get as excited, but she got there, so. But I also think people know, how grateful I am for this opportunity. I really believe in this administration in terms of what we're trying to do for the country. It's really important because these are basic things we're doing. We're kind of getting America back to basics and back to leadership, and it matters. And I think the world's waking up a little bit too. And this goes to the business side of things. You see, where the tech community or venture capital, where they're coming into this space. One, because there's a need and they're trying to solve that, but the importance of it because it goes to our American way of life, preserving it. Preserving and defending the homeland, but also preserving
partnership is critical.
Yeah, and it's now because our adversaries. That's the one thing too. I don't think people truly understand. We have actual adversaries that aren't. It's not that people don't like us. It's they don't want to see us exist.
Yeah.
That's I don't think people truly understand.
People can't fathom it.
No, it's not like we hurt their feelings. It's not, and so they're mad. No. They want to wake up. They want America not to exist.
And I'm not trying to put anyone down. I honestly think for a lot of people, they can't even comprehend the evil. So they don't want to.
No, good and evil's real.
People. Yeah,
good and evil are real things, and people don't understand that part of it. Where there are people who wake up every day planning our demise.
Yes.
Not that hey, we rubbed them the wrong way. Yeah. We hurt their feelings. They have a different view. Their different view is we shouldn't exist.
Yeah. And so that's kind of steps to ensure.
Yeah, and it's because of our position, right? Peace through strength, right? Yeah. That we want peace. But we are. If you will not see your sons and daughters if you come at us, right? So that's what we're trying to do, right? To preserve the American way of life, create a stable world, given our role in the world. And so we work towards every day. Probably interesting too, right? This conversation probably couldn't have happened if we didn't know each other in a way, right? Because it's we know enough about each other to be able to have a really good conversation.
Some trust.
Yeah, some trust. It goes back to trust. It really does. Trust is key.
Especially now, I think it's something we talk about is like, we've been a little bit, Washington's so polarized, and it's like the Hatfield McCoys, or like, you got to be on separate sides, but like, we can all get along if we all want the best for our country. How we agree or disagree on how that happens, but we can work together because we have to.
We have to. And that's, I mean, the thing is like, there's the, you know, freedom, or America is always one generation away. Like this is, you know, America was, think about it like in its origins, right? It wasn't given or granted, it was taken, it was preserved. A ragtag militia defeated the most well-funded army in the world, or military in the world, right? You're like, this thing is us. Like no one else is going to do this for us. And yes, in this great country, you don't have to serve in the military, right? You don't. Yeah. You can go build your business, build your family, you know, ideally support those who do. Yeah. But you kind of have the freedom to operate in a way that's like, there's no, you know, it's no forced anything, right? But it also is dependent, contingent upon all of us supporting one another enough that it holds together.
The preservation of liberty.
Yeah. I mean, that's, and, you know, so just, and this is where I think you are too. I do think most people, if you kind of reset things, could agree on 80% of everything, and somehow we've let the noise of the 20% divide us. And that's what worries me the most, right, is the division. I have really good friends I said that are, you know, a good friend, I call him a crazy liberal, right? Because I'm like, but he's a super smart guy. He loves America just as much as I do. We have different views on kind of how to get there, but we're good friends.
The funny thing is, I think I know who you're talking about.
You probably do. But my point is like, but he loves our country. Yeah. It's not, I hate America. I want to burn it down.
If it's who I think it is.
But I don't want to burn America down. I want America to, but I just think we can do it differently. I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. Yeah. That's great. Let's, you know, now I think things are fascinating where we literally have the Democratic Socialist Party in America now. Like, you know, we'll see how that rolls, right? Like I do think, right, we do as parents, as community, you know, members, neighbors, do need to help folks, you know, kids understand the path forward. Because at some point, I do understand that, you know, there's two sides to this for, I guess, in my brain a little bit. Like, hey, if you don't believe, because part of America, right, like if you talk about our stories, our lives, you know, not better than our parents. I don't mean like, but more like, you know, you grow and you create and you build in America, right? And so that's kind of the opportunity and the dream. Each generation does better than the last. So if we're at a point where this generation no longer believes that's true, we have a problem. 100% correct, right? And so what does that look like? And what can we do around housing and some things that are just out of reach for people? And we absolutely have to address that. The other side of this a little bit is, I was talking to someone about this, and they great point, like, well, what sacrifices have they made? And you're like, well, you know, so we have done the work, right? We've all been lucky. We're all blessed. So it's not, but we've done the, you know, I've, you know, like, you know, had you know,
I think each generation has to do the work, though. They can't.
That's
just
what I'm saying. So I mean, like, if you go back to your own
yeah.
life and the sacrifices you have made, like, and the inconvenience and the being uncomfortable, like, not everybody needs 4 flat screen TVs and $10 coffees. That's not really a thing. It's become a thing. Yeah. But I remember the first time I took my dad to Starbucks, he was like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. We're paying like $8 for coffee." Like, what happened? Yeah. Like, but like,
he's like, "I'd buy a whole like pounds of coffee."
Yeah, but like, right. So part of it is what, you know, what are you willing to sacrifice and really do to get there versus being comfortable? It goes back to being comfortable, uncomfortable,
or
and
that
work.
Need and want.
Yeah, the need, like if you really backed out of it a little bit, I'm not sure the burn rate and the spend on all the stuff is probably, you know, necessarily what you have to do.
Common topic.
But because it's comfort, lifestyle, and choice. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And so part of it is, you know, I remember like in college, right? I would eat, you know, macaroni and cheese and a can of tuna fish.
Yeah.
So I got carbs, protein, like could mix it up, you know, and it was like really inexpensive. Yeah. Right. Or I remember working, having like $20 for the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, it was
or
not
like saving up for like, oh, we can go to a movie because it's $1 movie night or something.
First 3 dates with Shaza you can ask for were $1 movie night.
Love it.
And I had just enough so I could buy her a drink or something. Like, but it was like, but that's what it wasn't. And I like now, like so we're kind of in the chapter where a lot of our children's friends are getting married and stuff. Like the weddings, like for our kids to participate in weddings or for all kids,
even
right?
just to participate.
Well, I know you like because they're somewhere, right? Then there's parties, and it's like, young people starting out working, $2-3 grand here and there and it's great to be part of somebody special, right? But
and we've talked about with
that's a lot.
Some people
right?
we know, their kids or friends we know, and then it's like there's multiple weddings, so now they're putting. And they're not even in the wedding; they're just putting in thousands bucks every couple of weeks for a wedding.
But that's what I'm saying, right? And then where do you get that from? Especially if you're in your 20s, starting out working.
Yeah.
Right. My parents got married, I think, in their parents' backyard.
Yeah.
Right. Like we did our own wedding, Shaz and I. Now, my daughter's wedding was, I just broke my own rule.
Crashers.
Yeah, I broke my own rule. Right. But it's, so my only point is in some of this, right, there are some hard realities about the economy and opportunities for people. There's also the self-responsibility of make certain you're making good choices with what you have. And it's not just comfort and short-term need, but you're thinking about tomorrow.
I think a lot of it, though, is social media because people see, we talk about
that's it. We go to
see it, and it's
I'm in, Ibiza on a yacht.
Yeah.
You're not really, and no one else is. So stop, go get a job.
People
And
think
now
that's
AI
real.
has created these complexities of that reality as well. It used to be people would rent it for a week, but now you don't even have to do that.
Yeah.
So it is shaping our
Have you ever seen your
kids and other
algorithm?
people's-
I'm on Instagram just with my family, not public or anything. And I didn't know you could find, but I found my algorithm. It was funny because it was it was kind of like you get, because the other thing is it's self-enforcing. Like you just keep seeing the same thing over, so you believe it's more frequent or true than it kind of is. But it was
design.
mine was devotionals, dad fitness, finance. It was all, but it was but I get my little feed, and Danny and I send each other stuff all the time. So it's like this, okay, it was just funny.
I love it. No, I've loved this, Mark. This has been really
I appreciate
special.
spending time with you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time.
You guys are
today.
special. I should have asked you the question. Why are you guys special?
No,
That's the question you have to answer.
But what do you value most in life?
My drivers are faith and family, and friendship, and it's it's 4 F's, right? But it's faith, family, friendship, and freedom. I get it. That's delicate and all of that. Your faith, right, is your foundation. But your family or freedom, friendships are delicate things that you have to kind of nurture and invest in. So I'm grateful for those things.
Love it. That's a wrap. We love you, buddy.
I love you back.
It wasn't too
you guys
bad,
are awesome.
was it?
It was great.
Subscribe, like, and comment, and don't forget to set those notifications. We'll see you next week with another special guest.
Until then, own your journey.